pressing against the earth, when a lone man crept into the oldest graveyard on the edge of the forgotten forest, clutching a black bag filled with bones, dried blood, and human skulls stolen from tombs. His breath came in short, trembling gasps as the iron gates slammed shut behind him with a metallic groan that echoed like a death bell. The graveyard stretched endlessly, a twisted maze of cracked headstones and gnarled trees clawing at the sky, their skeletal branches rattling as if whispering warnings he could not understand. He walked deeper, his footsteps crunching on brittle leaves and broken twigs, until he reached the heart of the cemetery, a sunken patch of ground where the earth looked black, as though soaked in centuries of blood. There he knelt, setting the bag down carefully, pulling out bones and skulls one by one, arranging them in a circle, while the stench of rot coiled around him like a living thing. From his pocket, he took out an old, tattered book, bound in leather, the color of dried flesh, its pages filled with words not meant for human tongues. His voice shook as he began chanting the incantations, ancient syllables rolling like thunder in the night. With every word, the wind picked up, hissing through the trees like snakes. The shadows around the graves stretched longer and twisted unnaturally, and something deep beneath the ground began to stir. The soil shivered. The tombstones rattled. Then came the first sound, a long, agonizing moan rising from the depths of the earth, joined by another, then another, until the graveyard trembled with an unholy chorus of screams that seemed to come from every direction at once. The man froze, sweat dripping down his face, but he kept chanting, louder now, desperate for power, blind to the terror swelling around him. The ground split open with a wet, sucking sound, and skeletal hands, yellow and jagged, clawed their way up through the soil, followed by skulls with empty sockets glowing green, jaws cracking wide open as they shrieked without lungs. Rotten corpses dragged themselves out of their graves, their flesh hanging in strips. Maggots squirming in their hollow mouths, their fingers curling like hooks. The man stumbled back, but the ritual had chained him to this nightmare. His own blood dripped onto the soil, feeding the summoning. From the largest crack in the ground rose something that was not human, not beast, but a towering horror wrapped in darkness, its body shifting like black smoke, with limbs too long and claws sharp enough to tear stone. Its face, or what passed for a face, was a skull, split wide, lined with needle-like teeth, dripping with thick black slime, and its eyes burned like furnaces of green fire. Behind it crawled other things, shapes that defied nature, mouths where there should be eyes, legs bending the wrong way, skin stretched over bone like wet paper. The man turned to run, But the path twisted endlessly, the gravestones closing in like prison bars. The air grew so cold, his skin cracked and bled, and whispers slithered into his ears. "You called us. Now you pay." Something seized his ankle, a hand, rotten and strong as iron, dragging him down. He kicked and screamed, but more hands burst from the ground, clutching his arms, his legs, his hair, pulling him into the hungry earth. His bones cracked like twigs as they yanked him apart, tearing his flesh in strips, his screams ripping through the fog, until blood splattered across the broken tombstones, painting the ancient names in red. His body came apart, piece by piece, limbs tossed into the shadows, where smaller creatures fought over them, like wolves, their teeth grinding and snapping. His head was the last to go, lifted high by a grinning corpse whose jaw unhinged wider than any human jaw should, dropping, and even now, completely unspeakable. The ritual circle glowed once, pulsed like a dying heart, and faded. The graveyard stood quiet again, under the dead moonlight, except for the faint sound of chewing beneath the soil, and the laughter, soft and endless, echoing like a curse through the cold mist, waiting for the next fool who dares to call upon the dead.